Hello, my fellow One Piece heads. It's me, the Scary Pink Lady. I'll start this off by saying you are going to be seeing a lot of my face for this video because I can't exactly show a lot of fan letter clips without Toei sniping my ass. As much as I wish that weren't the case, it is. So please prepare for a lot of prolonged eye contact with my big, wet eyes. If this is your first full video with me since seeing me on the Reverie, welcome! Throwing out a quick thank you to Volume 1 and all the creators I met thanks to that stream, and also a quick thank you to you for coming over to my channel and checking me out. We're a very classy audience here. We are very respectful in how we talk about and touch on One Piece. Unless it's about Sanji. In which case I am no better than an animal. But this video isn't about Sanji. Can you believe that? Nope. Instead of digging into the trenches of a little blonde head, we will be digging into the recently released masterpiece that is Fan Letter, because this touched something raw in my soul, as I think it did for many others. And who else but me should be the one to explain why Fan Letter made you break down and cry. Yeah. But before I do that, I gotta hit you with a sponsor. Traveling can be stressful. I know it, you know it, and the Straw Hats sure know it. So instead of taking the dangerous route, where you stay unconnected and hope you get good Wi-Fi somewhere, you should use Saily. I've been overseas multiple times, especially to Japan. The first time I went, I just prayed for a free Wi-Fi service wherever I could find. The second time, I had to wait in line to buy an eSIM from an overly crowded airport. And by God, do I wish I knew about Saily. Saily is an eSIM service that allows you to choose plans in over 160 countries and 8 regions. So there's no running around a crowded airport or stress buying online, because Saily will surely have all your traveling connectivity needs. With Saily, you only need to download the app once, where you can find affordable prices, tons of global and regional plans for multiple country trips, get unlimited data plans, and get a full refund if your device isn't compatible with Saily's eSIM. But I don't know why it wouldn't be compatible, because Saily works on both Android devices and iOS. Saily works by getting the app, buying a plan, and so long as you follow the instructions on the app, the eSIM will be activated as soon as you land. So you can tell all the little creatures in your phone that you're safe and sound without any stress. And with my special code, you will get 15% off your eSIM plan. That code being MELONT, as shown below. Just find the Saily app in the App Store, open it up, scroll to whichever plan you need, and press on it. At the checkout, you can enter your coupon code. And make sure you enter MELONT with an EEE. And boom, suddenly you have a cheap, affordable eSIM all from home. I wish more than anything I had this app before going overseas. And I will be sure to use it for my next adventure, because it's safe, affordable, and a cool bright yellow. Don't forget to download Saily today, and thank you so much Saily for sponsoring this video. Alright, are we ready to get into this, my little media-pilled chickens? Are you ready to find out why Fan Letter made you cry? Actually, really quick, I just want to say this for the record, but Fan Letter isn't filler. Filler implies that this was created to prolong the anime for one reason or another, and it wasn't. This is a genuine act of love, and while fillers can also be made with love, this was something clearly made to be more than that. I would call this a special, even a tribute, perhaps a celebration of One Piece. Calling Fan Letter filler is like calling the One Piece movies filler. I feel many of us have forgotten the meaning of filler these days, so I just really wanted to get that out there. For those who don't know, Fan Letter is the creation of Megumi Ishitani, the same woman who made the masterpiece that is the roof episode in Wano. At this point, I would kill for a One Piece movie from her, because animation excellence aside, she is so on the pulse of One Piece that it puts me and you to shame. To me, fan letter is proof of that, especially with the audience's widely positive reception of it, but we'll get more to Ishitani's influence later. Another thing to note is Fan Letter is a very, very loose adaptation of a One Piece novel titled Straw Hat Stories. This novel was written in 2017, and no, it was not written by Oda, but by a bloke named Tomohito Osaki. Shueisha, come here, come closer. I'm whispering into your ear right now. Let me write you a One Piece novel short story that you can publish. I promise I will be really, really good at it. But I also can't promise that it won't be Sanji focused. But surely there are no Sanji specific short stories that you've published before, right? Honestly, the content of the original novel doesn't matter and will not be talked about here because Fan Letter takes influence from the novel, but it was never going to be a one-to-one adaptation. And honestly, thank God, because apparently one of the stories is about a creepy man who is Nami's stalker. I have said it before, and I will say it again. Thank you, Megumi Ishitani, for being a woman working in media. I just know she took one look at Nami's original story and saw a clown show. And not the good type of clown show. Not the clown show with Buggy in it. Fan Letter is 22 minutes long in total, and now that I think about it, I'd probably call it a short film, because that's what it feels like. It focuses on a few characters, such as a beautiful babe working in a music shop, probably one of the most beautiful women I've seen in One Piece, by the way, and on two brothers who are Marines together. And yes, one of them is also a beautiful babe to me. But the main focus is on a little girl who idolizes Nami, and that means the Straw Hat main focus is also on Nami. There's still other Straw Hats around, they're very much mentioned, they're very much shown, but the narrative drive for this little girl is Nami. This little girl who, by the way, does not have a name, obviously on purpose and masterfully done for the story that Ishitani is trying to tell. But to make this video easier, I will be calling her Moo. The short film begins with brief glimpses of the Summit War at Marineford, both the powerful and the regular existing in this war, along with presenting us crowds of people who are trying to watch Buggy's live stream. Because, don't forget, our king and my girlfriend was streaming this whole mess. On first glance, with these quick cuts, we are presented with a congested, chaotic world. Regular Marines are going flying, calling Marineford hell, and the regular people are stressed from the commotion, while the regular little girl calls pirates annoying. Until she sees Nami's poster, and her world quite literally clears up. While this scene plays out, the narrator says, "The words Roger uttered just before his death drove people to the seas, and so men head for the Grand Line in pursuit of their dreams. The world has truly entered the Great Pirate Era. However, even in such times, the majority of people do not aspire to be pirates, and do not pursue the One Piece, just like them. Them being the characters we are about to meet, especially Moo, because it is essential we understand these characters do not have aspirations of grandeur the way a character like Luffy does. And this opening is fantastic, rehashing the original opening of One Piece word for word to get us excited, just to dwindle down and remind us just because a great pirate era was started doesn't mean the world was running in hordes to the seas. There are still people making a living, existing quietly and existing just to exist. Through Moo, we find this story takes place at the beginning of Subodhi. Once again, a fantastic choice because this was the gathering of all the Straw Hats after 2 years. This gathering was not only known by the Straw Hats, but by the world, allowing Moo and the others within the story a chance to find the Straw Hats in a realistic way. And in a more meta sense, the time skip was exciting for us, the readers, as well, because for those who don't know, when the pre-time skip segment of One Piece ended, Oda went on a 4-month break. While I was not there in the fandom for it, I have been told how excruciating that break was. So for the excitement for Moo to see Nami, for the Marines to chase the Straw Hats down, for the average person within the story to see the Straw Hats, yeah, that was basically the state of the audience at the time too. And there are plenty of meta moments like that within this short film, which continues to present just how well Ishitani understands not just One Piece, but the core audience for One Piece as well. A hilarious moment in this regard is the literal power scaling discussion that takes place with Zoro at the table, as a previous Marine argues how strong Mihawk really is because he saw him with their own eyes. The rest of them argue either against or for Zoro. After beating them over the head, Sanji appears and asks them what they think about him. They all laugh at how Sanji can possibly be considered in this discussion, and of course, Sanji beats them over the head as well. So these arguments seemed beneficial to absolutely no one in the situation, but believe it or not, I'm not making fun of that because I will be touching on that again later. A similar meta moment, in my opinion, is the Marine who loves Chopper. Not because he knows anything about Chopper, simply just because he finds Chopper cute. Between you and me, I know, you know, Chopper is constantly ridiculed in the fandom for being too cute. Tons argue Chopper has just become a mascot character, and while I entirely disagree, this character is a great example of, but why does that matter? You ask a Chopper fan why they like Chopper, there will be many reasons. One of them is because he's just so stinking cute. And that's fine. That's more than fine. In fact, it's adorable. Cuteness can uplift people too, can make them happy. So showing this Marine's love for Chopper just because he finds Chopper cute? Why must he need to like Chopper for any deeper reason? Chopper's cute. That makes him happy. Let Chopper fans be happy at how cute Chopper is. Even the burliest of men are allowed to enjoy some cutesy characters. I can't help but think Ishitani is poking fun at the Chopper's just a cute mascot character sentiment with this Marine character. Then of course we have the shopkeeper, who loves Brook just for him being a silly skeleton that makes music. She's more than allowed to love him just for the ridiculousness of his nature. Now, to understand the more emotional aspects of fan-led self-referential ideas, we must look at the Marine brothers and at Moo. There were tons of people that told me the Marine brothers is what really dug at them and what really hit them on that emotional level. And why is that? For 2 reasons. Marineford and Luffy and Ace. We got a different perspective of Marineford through fan letter, the perspective of the common person, which was absolutely terrifying. Hundreds of people were being killed left and right, whether pirates or Marines, and the image of these 2 brothers yelling for each other on the battlefield was harrowing. What are they supposed to do against the monsters that stand before them? These monsters not just being pirates, but higher up Marines who seem to be treating them as fodder. This is why even the tongue-in-cheek power scaling segment meant something, because one of these guys is a Marine who seems to have quit. He says he was there at Marineford, and the power of these monsters was no joke. And how can we, as watchers, blame the guy? He saw hell on that battlefield, saw how he and his companions were treated as nothing but acceptable casualties. So he abandoned the Marines. If I were to be honest, I'd do that. Whatever justice we're fighting for, I would be running with my tail between my legs if I saw Mihawk cut a mountain of ice in half with one swing. But going back to the brothers, something I really loved about this is the brothers found their hope not through the Marines, not through any justice they had to uphold, but through Luffy and Ace. Even through this war of Marines versus pirates, from the view of the Marines, we still don't hate these pirates, especially not Luffy, because Luffy is fighting for his brother. He is fighting for his life to keep Ace alive, just to watch Ace die right in front of him. How can this Marine, who's fighting for his own brother, who is doing anything and everything to keep his brother alive, not understand Luffy on such a tragic level? In that moment, this Marine gained perspective of why Luffy is even in this war, of why he's even a pirate. And even though both these brothers don't leave the Marines, they've come to find a connection in Luffy and in pirates. Because something like brotherly love, like the want and will to protect someone, is not restricted by titles or positions. It can be found everywhere, in anyone, and if Luffy is what it took for this Marine to keep going, if seeing Luffy cry with Ace dead in his arms is what makes this Marine appreciate, love, and protect his brother even more, then why does it matter if Luffy's a pirate? And to extend from that, why does it matter if Luffy isn't even real? Similar to how there's a wall between Marines and pirates, there's a wall between us and Luffy. And yet, even with this fictional wall, with the knowledge that Luffy and Ace do not exist, so what? We felt those emotions. We came to appreciate our own relationships more because of it. And just like the Marine brothers, we are finding reasons to love, to protect, and to live through Luffy, especially through his relationship with Ace. And this doesn't just have to mean between brothers or even just between siblings. This can be a relationship of any kind, so long as you have someone you want to love and protect. That's probably why the story of these Marine brothers, of what they saw and what they said, hit you so hard. Because you were them. You are them. And even with that wall between you and Luffy, you understand Luffy. I can totally understand if someone's favorite part of Fanletter was the brothers for all of these reasons, but my favorite part of Fanletter was Moo's story. A little girl who admires Nami, who wants to be like Nami, and only wants Nami to understand what she's done for her. Before we get into this, why Nami? Nami seemed to get the most focus here, with Moo being the unofficial main character of this story. Everything centers around Moo getting that letter, that fan letter, to Nami. Simple enough, because Nami's story is truly what defined One Piece as the masterpiece it is. While I love all the arcs before Arlong Park, and while the Baratier is what had me sitting up for One Piece, Arlong Park is what made me realize this is truly something spectacular in the making. And it's not just me, nearly every single One Piece fan on the planet will agree with that. It's undeniable that Arlong Park was a game changer, from the story of Nami's past, to the crew's unconditional love for Nami, to the focus on the female lead as a human being who's broken down from fighting alone all her life. Moo's obsession with Nami is not just obsession, but a pure admiration because of what Nami has done for her. The story even starts with her saying, in a world full of monsters, Nami survives and perseveres with her wits and intelligence, which is exactly what makes Nami so special, not just to Moo, but to me as well. And one of my favorite moments with Moo is when she runs into Usopp, because Usopp does the exact same thing. And once again, on a more meta level, Usopp has probably been chosen because he is the most average person on the crew. And he's supposed to be. Usopp is a normal guy, just like us, and he's meeting Moo, who represents us. Usopp is a shining example of a normal guy who is striving for grandeur, so for him to take our hand, help us up, and give us a magic phrase to keep us going, it's just fantastic. Usopp, more than anyone, understands what it's like to be trampled on in a world full of monsters, and we, like Moo, can and will feel uplifted through Usopp's normal existence. If there's anyone we can meet in this world, anyone we can break through that wall for and reach them, it's Usopp. And from here, as Moo runs to desperately give Nami that letter, we are met with gorgeous lines and a gorgeous scene. Moo loses her letter, loses her will, and is prepared to give up on chasing after Nami. But in a moment of clarity, puts her glasses back on to push through her hardships and run after Nami. Moo picks up a metaphorical puzzle piece to reach this revelation, and as everyone goes to chase her, the characters we've met throughout this short film pick up their own metaphorical puzzle pieces. Even the power scalers are there. And the lines that really stick with me throughout this montage are, in this world where power is everything, even if I get hurt and trampled on, I still want to struggle, run, and live as freely as I can. And what powerful lines those are, especially as Moo reaches her letter out to Nami, as we see Nami along with Moo, not being able to deliver her letter, just out of arm's reach, but enough for Moo to be happy. Because she saw her, saw the woman that made Moo more determined to live the life she wanted. And that's all she needed. And just like with the brothers and the wall between Luffy and them, with that wall being applied to us and Luffy's fictional existence, that wall applies to Moo too. Because Nami isn't someone Moo can meet. Nami isn't someone she can touch or talk to. But she's someone Moo can see. And that wall between Moo and Nami is the same as the wall between us and Nami as well, because Moo isn't just a little girl. She's me and you. She's Moo. Please tell me you at least scoffed at that. I did not build all that up for nothing. But seriously, even though Sanji's my favorite character, I have always said I hold the most personal connection with Nami. Obviously, there's the fact Nami is a woman, but her struggles and her stubbornness to do everything herself, her fear in asking for help, is something I find a lot of relatability in. And for Ishitani to make this short film, to make Moo the main character, to make Nami the idol of her life while she yells the words, I still want to struggle, run, and live as freely as I can makes me cry, because I think Ishitani must feel this way about Nami too. Obviously Moo reflects everyone, but to make Moo a little girl who's found a role model in Nami, a fantastic character in our world and an amazing pirate in her world, is like looking into a mirror for me. I've always had this weird little category of media where I ask myself, if I were still a little girl, would I love this and watch this every day? Would this impact me throughout my youth and into my adulthood? For Fan Letter, the answer is yes. If I had watched this as a little girl, Little Melon would have been obsessed with it, because Moo and Nami would have meant everything to her. Moo finds a piece of herself due to Nami, and I love the symbolism of her putting her glasses back on by the end. Moo shouldn't want to be Nami, she should be inspired to be herself because of Nami, which is exactly what happens. And the Straw Hats have inspired all these other people to find a piece of themselves as well, even with Brooke being a music-loving skeleton, even with Chopper being a cute little thing, and even the Power Scalers have found a community within each other just to talk. It doesn't matter your reasons. It doesn't matter why you love it, you still love this series. If you love One Piece, it's because it's done something for you. It's done something to you. And I can certainly say One Piece has done something to me on a fundamental level. Fun fact, I didn't dye my hair, explore my fashion, or even think about YouTube as a career choice until One Piece. I wouldn't be the pink-headed maniac I am now without One Piece. So just like all the characters within Fan Letter, I can also put a piece of my soul in this puzzle, just like you can probably do too. Fan Letter is something that wouldn't work to people who aren't fans of One Piece. And it's not supposed to, because Ishitani looked into every corner of One Piece's audience for this, and she clearly looked within herself as well to create something fantastic for fans. Someone who isn't a fan of One Piece cannot possibly fathom why this made us cry, and I'm not saying that in a snobbish way, but in a way that means One Piece just reached us differently, and it's why this is a masterpiece, why I know Ishitani put all her love into this project, because she displays why One Piece reached us in such an emotional way. And she did that not just through burly men, not just through the common marine, but through a little girl who wanted nothing more than to live her life freely, finding that piece of her soul she was missing. Finding that one piece. And with that, thanks for watching.
Anywhere you go, give it on. Anywhere you said, anywhere.
Writing this script made me tear up multiple times, but I think we're allowed to be crybabies here if it's about One Piece. Megumi Ishitani, you'll never see this, but if you do, I admire you so much, and I am so unbelievably happy that you are working on a series like One Piece. Please keep fighting the good fight, because you are surely an inspiration to tons of little girls who want to work in media and animation. And as for you guys watching this, let me know what you think. Did you love Fan Letter? Why did you love Fan Letter? How did Fan Letter reach into your soul and shake you around? Please let me know, because I love these conversations. Just a quick reminder that I have a Patreon, and if you would like to support me there, I'd really appreciate it. However, I know not everyone can support me in that way, and just watching and sharing these videos does more than you can imagine for me. But tips are also nice, I will not lie. My Patreon also includes how to get into my Discord if you'd like to join my little community. If there's anything you'd like to see me cover, One Piece or otherwise, please let me know, and I'll see you in whatever I make next. See ya!